Hi, so we're going to start today's lesson with the sunset kind of a scenery. So first, the colors we'll be needing are yellow, orange, and red. We'll be using all three colors right after each other, so keep them all ready at the same time. So one more time, we'll be using yellow, orange, and red. Any yellow of your choice, whether it's lemon yellow, medium yellow, bright yellow, it doesn't matter, completely your choice. So now I'm gonna squeeze out all the colors on my palette since we'll be using them right after each other. So to stay ready, so I've got some yellow, got some orange, I'm gonna squeeze some red, now I'm gonna start painting. So I'm gonna use yellow first. So as soon as I'm done with yellow, I'll be using orange. Once I'm done with orange, I'll be using red. Right after red, I'm going to be blending them all together. So if you want to keep watching until I get to the red part and then try it yourself, then that would probably be easier. Or if you want to do it with me, you can do it with me as well. You just need to be a teeny bit fast. So now I'm gonna add yellow lines in random spots within your paper or canvas, whatever you have. So I'm not covering every area and I'm not spreading it either. I'm just doing lines, streaks all the way. I've got some space here, so I'm gonna add some here. Now I'm gonna move on to orange. So all the spaces underneath the yellow, I'm going to add a bit of orange there. I'm still not filling up the gaps because we need some space for the red as well. I'm doing it as slowly as possible. But remember, acrylic paints dry fast. So if we don't give it fast painting, it's gonna dry. We won't get time to blend it then. So now I'm going to quickly add red in all the white spaces that we have left. So that's everywhere. There's yellow, there's orange. This is why I suggested that if you want to hold on, wait till you see me finish this part and then try it. That would probably be easier since you already know what the final look is. So I'm adding red in all the white spaces that I can see, in all the white spaces that I've left after the yellow and the orange. So covered up all the white spaces. Now before this dries, I'm going to completely wash my paintbrush. So there's absolutely no yellow, no orange, no red left. So with a clean paintbrush and a little bit of water, with absolutely extremely less pressure, I'm just going to blend the colors. I'm literally just gliding my paintbrush with no pressure, because once you add pressure, the colors are going to mix. Then your yellow and red is going to become orange. Then we won't be seeing yellow anymore. So very light, as light pressure as you can, because we still want to see the yellow, the orange and the red separately. because the more pressure you put, the colors are going to mix with each other. If for any reason you blended it so much that your yellow is no longer visible, that's absolutely fine. All you need to do is wait for this section to absolutely dry. Once it's completely dry, just take some brand new yellow onto your paintbrush and redo the parts which were originally yellow. So I'm going to blend one spot purposefully so that I can show you, if you end up making a mistake, how to fix it. So here I'm just going left and right. So some of my yellow has changed to a little dark yellow or a light orangish color. So now what I'm going to do is, once I'm happy with however I've left this, so just say if I wanted these parts to have a brighter yellowish shade, I would suggest you wait until yours is absolutely dry. But since I'm showing it to you, I'm going to do mine anyway, just so that you can see. But when you're trying, make sure everything is absolutely dry. So here, I've taken fresh yellow paint onto my paintbrush and I'm slowly applying it to the area where the yellow would have rubbed off because of too much blending. And I'm doing it very softly, otherwise the yellow will blend into orange again. So there's just a small example to show you that if you end up blending too much and there's just one shade throughout, this is what you can do. Wait for the whole thing to absolutely dry and then redo the colors slowly. And remember, the purpose of this design was it had to look like this, like multiple streaks. So you don't need to stress about making it look clear, making it look completely blended. It doesn't have to be. This is how we want it to look. So now I'm going to give you some time to get to this stage. Before we move on to the next step, we need this to be absolutely dry. I need to wait for this to absolutely dry before I remove mine. I just wanted to show you where my painting is starting and ending, but I'm going to wait for this to dry. Just to let you know, we'll be using black next. So wait for this to absolutely dry before we move on. So I'm going to pause the video now so that I can wait for this to completely dry. So if you're still working on this stage, pause the video now as well. And in a few seconds time, I'll be doing the next step. So if you've not finished it till now, pause the recording now and then play back once yours is absolutely dry. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next part now. So we'll be using black color. So I'm going to take some black onto my palette. I'm going to give you some time to get your black as well. So we'll be adding the ground first. So these are rocky ground soil. So I'm going to just do it in a very uneven surface. So I'm literally just dabbing the paintbrush, I'm not painting. So now underneath this, I'm going to fill the gap up. Okay, that's our ground done. I'm going to give you a few seconds to complete this. So now, using the same black, I'm going to add a tree. If you're still working on this, pause the video now and play it back once you've reached this stage. So now, I'm going to do the tree. So I'm going to start off with thick branch, trunk thick trunk. I'm going to extend it onto the right side of my paper and then fill it in. So you can do it in any direction of your choice. You can start your tree right in the middle. You can do right to left, or you can do left to right like mine. Or you can just do one in the corner going straight upwards as well. It's absolutely your choice. So once the tree trunk is done, I'll be doing the leaf now. So all I'm going to do is dab the paintbrush onto the paper with black so that it gives you that leaf look. I'm literally dabbing this paintbrush onto the paper with enough gap so that you can see each leaf separately. I'm just dabbing, as you can see. And again, the choice is yours. How wide you want to stretch your tree, how thick you want to make it look as well. So there's no expert technique. I'm literally just, this is a big flat brush. You can use any brush of your size. Even if you use this small flat brush as well, it gives you the same effect. It's all about the pressure that you use to dab. So now, based on how you want your tree to look, you can make it as wide as you want, as thick as you want. If you want it to look bushy, increase the thickness as well. Choice is completely yours. If you want to stretch it to look left to right, cover the whole canvas paper with leaf. Choice is completely yours. So I'm going to lower this down a bit more and then stop there because I'm happy with the size of my leaves. You can decide how you want your tree to look. If you want some coming down like this as well. So all I've done is dab the brush. That's it. I've not done any other technique. I've just placed the brush repeatedly again and again. And this is the tree done. Using the same black that I have on my brush, I'm going to add small birds. So one option for the bird is the standard V-shaped birds, where you just draw teeny ticks like so. So here you'll be able to see this tiny tick. If you want to do a bit more difficult bird, another option, I'm gonna fit my bird here right above the tree. I'm gonna zoom in a bit more so that you can see it better. So here I'm gonna start with a small circle, add a little swing like so. Give it a bit of a wing. One wing, two wings. Give it a teeny bit, a small beak at the front. And if you want, you can add a bit of fluffy feathers here. That's a difficult looking bird. I'm gonna do this one more time. I've got teeny space next to it, so I'm gonna do a teeny bird right next to this. So you're gonna do the same thing again. Small circle, teeny one. I'm gonna make a small C-shaped swing. Make this a bit more thicker. Add a bit of feathers here. Add a little beak at the front. Now comes the wings. So here comes one wing. Here comes the second wing. And I'm just going to make this thicker. If you really want, you can add 2 feet at the bottom, but you can skip it as well. So that's our too difficult version of the birds. If this is too difficult for you, you can stick with the V, the tick shape that we normally use, or you can try this out. So I'm going to give you some minutes. I'm going to leave this as close up so that you can see it clearly. Okay, so now I'm going to move on. Let's put the painting back in position. There you go. I'm going to give you a few more seconds to see the final picture before we add some more details to this. So So these are masking tape. They always give a clean finish. Allows us to paint as we like and still have a clean white border. You can always fix up these teeny paints that leak out with white paint once they're absolutely dry, not when they're wet. Okay, so we'll be needing white next. I'm going to give you a few more minutes for you to catch up. If you're still working on it, then pause the video here and then play it back once you reached this stage. But if you've already done it and you don't wish to wait, forward it 30 seconds and then you can see the next stage. Okay, so now I'm going to use white paint. So here, I'm going to be making a sun. If you've done it similar to me, you got this entire section and this entire section to add the sun. If you've made your tree very thick and it's covering all the way to here, either find an empty spot to add your sun or draw the sun underneath the tree within the gaps. I'll show you how. For example, let's say that this whole area is covered with leaves and I've got absolutely no space left. Then I can just add a small sun underneath this area. You can do the sun here and then you can do small black leaves on top of it. So that way it looks like the tree is in the front, the sun is at the back. So we need to show that the sun is right at the back. So the sun is so far away that the tree, which is in very close up to you, looks bigger than the sun. So I'm using white to make this circle. If you're struggling to make a perfect circle, use anything that is circle already to make an outline. So I'm not going to finish this here. After doing this white circle, I'm going to use the same yellow that I used at the beginning. I'm going to add some to my palette now. And using the same yellow, I'm going to add some to the sun. So I did this in order to brighten up the yellow. If I had added the yellow first, it wouldn't have looked as bright as it looks now. Plus it gives off a white glowy outline look, which is why we did the white circle first. And I've not added the yellow everywhere. I've left a teeny bit of the white circle peeping out from underneath the yellow, just the outline part. Using the same yellow which is on my brush, I'm just going to add teeny highlights to the sky. So for anyone who blended in the beginning too much and the yellow is no longer visible, this is your chance to make up for it, as long as it's absolutely dry. So I'm just going to add yellow streaks. So I'm adding it in such a way that you know it's there, but it's not fully visible either. So it's like it's there, but it's not. That's how subtle I'm going to add it. I will be blending this. I'm not going to leave it this way. So I'm only doing this around the sun, not anywhere else. So because of the sun's brightness, all the clouds next to the sun are also yellowish in color, which is why I've added this. So I'm just going to wash my brush completely using just plain water. I'm just going to go over the sun rays that we just did. Just try to blend it a bit so that it joins with the rest of the background. You don't have to blend it too much because we do want the yellow to be visible. Just a little bit so that it doesn't have a patchy look. So each time I'm washing my brush, dipping it in brand new water, and then bringing it back to my canvas or your paper, so that the yellow that my brush has picked up is not sent back. This is all we need. We don't need to blend it too much. Still needs to be visible. I'm just taking away the patchiness that comes when you apply paint initially. So this is our painting done. Now if you want to highlight the trunk, all you need to do is take some white paint and give it a slight outline, like so. We will be blending this. Same for here as well. So this is our tree. So I'll be blending this immediately. So this way you can tell that the tree is shaped like that. You can tell that the tree is separate from the ground. At the same time, it's not as bright as how white would have been. So you can tell the difference between the leaf, the tree, and the ground. At the same time, you've given it a shadowish look because the sun is behind the tree, so there's not going to be any light. So this is our final painting done. Hopefully it was very easy for you to finish. I did choose as easy as possible method, so hopefully it was helpful. Send me a picture once you're done. Any doubts, just message me. Bye.